With a loud cry, Jesus breathed his last. The curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. And when the centurion, who stood there in front of Jesus, saw how he died, he said, "Surely this man was the Son of God." Some women were watching from a distance. Among them were Mary Magdalene, Mary the mother of James the younger and of Joseph, and Salome. In Galilee these women had followed him and cared for his needs. Many other women who had come up with him to Jerusalem were also there.
Mark chapter 15, verses 37 to 41. I'm standing by a no entry sign at the Steen, here on the Bognor Regis seafront. The curtain in the temple in Jerusalem acted as a huge no entry sign. It separated the Holy of Holies from the place where the priests were operated from. Only the high priest, and only on one day of the year, the Day of Atonement, was able to go through that curtain to where the Ark of the Covenant was, that symbolized the presence of God. He would go there to make atonement. And superstition has it that just in case he wasn't able to enter into God's presence and live, they would tie a rope around his ankle to fish him back out again, because nobody would dare go into that space. Well, Mark gives us one of his classic sandwiches. He puts in the middle, or between two other episodes, the thing that he's telling us about. So he tells us that Jesus breathed his last, so he died on the cross. And before he tells us about the centurion that was standing there, he says that the curtain in the temple was ripped in two, from top to bottom. Access was now open. The way was now possible for people to get into God's presence. How amazing is that? It's absolutely fantastic that as a result of Jesus' death, sinful people like you and I can have a friendship with God and have access to him freely. Well, the very first verse of the first chapter of Mark's Gospel was that Jesus is the Messiah, the Christ, the Son of God. Mark told us right from the outset the identity of Jesus. And you would have imagined that the disciples, the Jewish people, those that had been expecting him and looking forward to him coming, would have been the first people to have wanted to accept him and recognize who he was. Amazingly, it is a Gentile, a centurion, a Roman soldier, maybe even somebody that had just been instrumental in Jesus' crucifixion, who gets Jesus' identity right, who is able to say, because he saw how Jesus died, that this really was the Son of God. This centurion was the first of many to recognize who Jesus really is. Have you recognized him? Have you acknowledged the identity of Jesus, that he really is God's Son? Father, thank you so much indeed that you turn a no entry sign into the way of salvation, access to you. Thank you so much that Jesus makes it possible for us to freely enter into your presence. Thank you that we come through him to you, not trusting in ourselves, but entirely in his finished work on the cross. Thank you for Jesus. For me, Jesus really is your Son. Amen.